activity is widespread in nearly every state this morning, but an FDA panel meeting today is ready to finalize next year's vaccine. That will give manufacturers the 6 to 9 months they need to prepare more than 150 million doses to fight the flu. While the vaccine is the first line of defense, a CDC study found that this year it's been only 36% effective. Our Dr. Tara Narula went inside a lab where researchers are working on a universal flu vaccine. Tara, good morning. Doc, tell us the good news.
Good morning, Alex. The flu vaccine is the only routine vaccination people need to take every year, which is why scientists around the world have been searching for decades for a universal flu vaccine, one that targets all the strains of the flu virus and will last a lifetime.
It is a very difficult goal. It is sort of the holy grail.
Peter Polizzi and his team of microbiologists at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York have been working almost exclusively for 5 years on finding the holy grail of flu prevention. And they believe they're close.
It is right now in phase 1. People are as we speak, being vaccinated with this vaccine, and that is the first step in getting it approved.
How long do you think before we see phase 2 or phase 3?
I think it should be faster than 10 years.
10 years may seem like a long time, but it takes understanding why the flu is unique compared to other viruses, like measles or mumps.
The virus is changing constantly, which is why we have to get a new vaccine every year. But there are parts of the virus which are staying constant.
Think of the influenza virus as coated with little mushrooms, each with a head and a stem. The current vaccines only target the head, but that's the part that easily changes or mutates into different strains, making vaccine effectiveness challenging. But scientists discovered that the stem remains relatively the same. Therein lies the holy grail: target the unchanging part.
This is really from an idea that was developed on the bench into clinical trials in basically 8 years.
Florian Kramer is leading the clinical trials in humans.
This is called a biobubble. We can prepare vaccine seed viruses that are then going into manufacturing and can then be used in human clinical trials.
They're also using chicken eggs to grow their vaccines.
The difference to what you would buy in a supermarket is just that they have an embryo in them.
It's a method of vaccine development used for over 70 years. The eggs are injected with strains of the flu virus, incubated for a few days, and harvested to prepare the vaccine.
How many doses of vaccine can you get from one egg?
So typically you would get 1 to 3 doses of vaccine per egg.
With at least 97 pediatric deaths, this flu season is the worst in nearly a decade.
Do you feel like the recent changes that we've been seeing in terms of the epidemics and the pandemics and this season are driving the research?
This year, unfortunately, it is worse than what we have seen over the last 10 years almost. Clearly, this is more motivation, and we really want to try to find something which eliminates this disease.
This severe flu season has lent urgency to the search for a one-and-done flu shot. But the central issue now is federal funding. While the National Institutes of Health is funding Mount Sinai's work, some researchers believe with more funds, we could see a universal flu vaccine in less than 5 years.
Yeah, I like in the piece when you said 10 years seems like a long time. Yes, it does, Dr. Tara. It seems like a long time. But you're saying when you really put it into perspective, not so long?
Not so long. I mean, science tends to move at a slow pace, but I agree that with more funding, hopefully we'll get there quicker.
I hope so, too. Graphics were very helpful to understand it. Thanks. That was great.